Hello YouTube, this is Agent here, failed error, ambush alley, Wargame European Escalation. This is actually take 3. I'm not live commentating these, a few of these episodes because of time constraints of my personal life. Also, I've got the moving the Vulcans up to try and hit the Hinds as they come over the hilltop. And the first AI, I've just passed through Delta. However, as you can see, the Warsaw Pact secured some of the zones with another sort of easy and tank destroyer role. Those Fuchs aren't gonna get, well, Fuchs, they're Fuchs. So I buy a ton of Jaegers to sort of swarm the woods. Because I didn't get secure Gulf, so I thought might as well secure the woods to try and stop coming from Gulf. It's actually quite good at this. It's quite close because you see the AI were sending their vehicles in, which meant that they were counting as my side, so they were securing sectors that I couldn't afford to secure. At a cost though. I mean, look at those Micros, they're just doing some damage. It's a bit unrealistic, I mean, I should be able to tell the AI, you know what, just stop. We don't have that bit, we'll have it secured in a bit. Also, look at that Micro right next to my command vehicle. That is an accident just waiting to happen there. As soon as I notice it, I get it out of there and get my starships to engage. Yeah, that isn't good positioning there, if I'm honest. I'm also getting those sort of 150 tank destroyers. I see the emerging forces of another invincible army of doom, death and destruction and all things bad coming, and I think that's not good. As you can see, the AI is actually pushing through their defences on this side, and they've secured all the other points for me, which is very nice. I have to thank them for that. Obviously, they've taken a lot of casualties in doing so, but you know. Also, over here, the motor Strelki have moved up on the hill, copying my sort of Jaeger strategy, and quickly attack the starships with their bazookas. I get my own infantry in to combat them. Over here, we got some T-55s coming in. Doesn't look too good at this angle, but you know, we've got all the points, and 2 allied transports have made it across. Over here, some Strela 2 infantry have popped up. Not that welcome, but you know, there you go. They're gonna fire off their missiles against the Cobras. Also, they're pinned against the Mi-24s to the rear. Pretty nasty combo there. And not ideal. However, the road does seem quite secure at the moment. Got all the points, I think, so that should be okay. I'm buying some more patents because I see this army's getting stronger by the second, so I'm gonna have to defend that. And yeah, so I try and rush the Cobras in to overwhelm the Strela 2s, but these guys definitely know what they're doing. A quick 1-2 for the Cobras, just like that, and now they're up to a pretty high experience level, and that's 80 points down for me. So I get the infantry that I'd sent up there to capture one of the conquest points to sort of go over to there. What else is going on? So I've landed a few to take out the Motor Strike, however they've moved, so I'm gonna hopefully get some people on that. And I'm buying some more Cobras. Cobras are quite good because against the sort of weakly armoured tat that the Warsaw Pact throwing my way, because they've got those Hydra rockets which do a good amount of damage armour, especially in the stun department. Elsewhere, they've got some 2 recon keeps and then a tank destroyer coming in, but I've got a pattern to clear up the keeps, no bothering with them gone. Hopefully I won't be able to see a thing. This is a very hilly level. Lawn sidelines are actually quite useless here. The best units are a sort of short range. Also, we can see some T-72s moving in on the bottom left. Don't spot them again. I'm worried about all the forces that are swarming around the conquest points. This point, the north conquest point's been taken again. I'm having a lot of trouble here because any forces I try and bring up to take these points is usually getting bogged down in fighting before then, because they're attacking from so many directions at once in this level. It's a nightmare. To be frank, since India's been completely swarmed, I've had to pull my command unit out of India because it's not secure. And yes, the riflemen from the Huey have been knocked out, and the allies look like they're taking a bit of a battering. Although 13 units have got through so far, and we still have 13 minutes left, so could be worse. Could be it could have been a copy of the last game. Elsewhere, lots of fighting going on, especially in the starting zone. However, I haven't noticed this. Should notice it in a few seconds, though, if I remember correctly. See, the Cobras are sort of flying over units to get to stuff. See, now I've noticed that there's a huge amount of stuff in my command vehicle, and my command unit was destroyed. And now I can't bring in any units whatsoever. And there's a swarm of T-72s, lots of stuff with T in the name. However, some good news, I guess, is that the bulk of allied units should secure some forces, but I realised that, unless I can get something brought in sharpish, this isn't going to end up too well. So I take Bravo CV and send it to Alpha. We need a reinforcement zone. More Mi-24s are being brought on the left. They're now, it's a sort of helicopter focused area over there. Up north, got the infantry perched on the hill. These guys do a great job for me, because I noticed the AI always seem to be sending their tank destroyers and stuff over this hilltop, so I guess put some infantry in that right spot. Let's see, elsewhere, India has been resecured. I moved it around to an area less swarmed by enemies. So I'm still getting 9 points, so I'm building up a good glut of points here. Capture a few enemy supply trucks that were captured from me initially by the patterns coming in there. And you see, and now we have Alpha resecured. Unfortunately, they've captured a point right outside the base, and now all those Cobras are running low on ammo. They've got flamethrower tanks and all this kind of stuff. It's not looking good. Up here, those Jaegers are still doing a good job, and I'm sending in another squad of Jaegers to come in. And more allies are getting through. We're now up to 22 units, so we're about halfway there. And we're living on a prayer, pretty much, because we are getting pretty well swarmed on every flank possible. Some much Houston infantry, but the Cobra's miniguns should clear them up, no bother. More recon units. I need to know where, if something's about to attack my command vehicle. And the Jaegers have forced the hill. The Cervikas are being taken in. The T-72s unwisely rush to the rescue, only to fall as well. Tense fighting going on that hilltop. Not so intense on the other side. The tank destroyers are just being attacked by stuff they can't shoot at. And there we go. I think I've secured the deployment point to the south, so I'm now, the allies are starting to send more units in. I've now got a fairly large swarm of starships and patterns. Basically, before I lost Alpha, I was buying a lot of tanks to try and reinforce that, because you saw I was so weak, so I had a big glut of tanks up there, but now I really need them south. I've spent that glut of points that was built up when I couldn't reinforce to buy even more tanks. I'm going tank heavy in this. 6 patterns I brought in to secure that deployment zone, and another 2 to deploy another one up there. Yep, so at the moment I'm feeling fairly confident. We've got about 35, I think. Yep, 35 out of the 50. We just need 15 more to cross, and all the zones are in our hands. And we've only lost a sort of 3-point zone there. I sent some more recon units up, but these basic recons are pretty slow. It's going to take a long time for that to get there. And finally, the BRDM of Gulf is destroyed. Not sure if that'll actually make a difference to the battle, but 200 extra points just can't hurt, can it? Well, I guess those units were diverted and they could be doing anything, but now I've got the huge force I have up north is definitely securing that. So the northern sector is quite secure. Over here, though, you see they keep sending constant these Mi-24s, and these Vulcans are doing a good job at holding them off, I'd have to say. The Vulcans are very good at sort of ambush warfare against helicopters, and that's what I'm using them for, so they seem to be doing quite well. Up here, I'm so paranoid. I want to really secure the top. The bottom bit, it's still a bit precarious. I have forces, but I know they have a lot of forces. But, you know, the allies seem to be getting in without having to shoot, which is always a nice sign. Another recon helicopter's brought in, and they spot a glut of T-55s and TO-55s and Mi-24s, the usual bunch. But, you know, the allies are getting through. It's nice that when they're using the roads, they can get through quite fast. And, yeah. Unfortunately, the AI got a bit smart there. The UAZ spotted the Geiger was from coming up a hilltop that they were exposed to. Had to quickly do a bit of last-minute manoeuvring to get them out of there. And yes, losing more Cobras here. The fighting is now quite concentrated around Delta, and this is a pretty sensitive spot for me because I've got a command vehicle. And yep, so this has been Agent. Thank you and goodbye. A lot of sense when you look at the huge amount of starships and patents I have sitting on their asses. Because they don't actually do anything really, those tanks. I should have brought them to help out at Delta. But you know, everything seems to be relatively secure at the moment. Relatively. I'm also bringing in a recon helicopter to help out at that CV, because if it goes down I'm going to have to get a CV all the way from India. Not literally, you know what I mean. Up here, the M113, I got to case away the recon keep sort of being overwhelmed with tank destroyers and stuff when it got out in the open. And yeah. Now there seems to be another attack coming in here with more UAZ keeps and tank destroyers. That's the main kind of force. They've got gluts of armies with BMPs and tanks, and then sort of these sort of small strike forces of tank destroyers and recon keeps. I decided to bring in some of my own tank destroyers, those recoilless rifle pieces of sugar honey iced tea, to take them out. Also, my recon helicopter spots it. I only noticed it for a second, but there was a command vehicle heading towards Alpha. Bit worried about that because, one, it means that it'll neutralize the zone, and unless I destroy it I won't be able to get it back. And two, if I lose that command vehicle, which, seeing as it's undefended and pretty much on the front line, it could be quite likely, and then the AI might start bringing reinforcements directly in. Over here, the hilltop's not looking too secure. They rush some patents in to take out the tank destroyers. In close combat, they should do a fine job. But Delta, you know, they're holding on. And I've decided to bring in some Marder 1A1s. These are quite powerful units with their autocannon and the AGKM. The pattern here is finishing off the tank destroyers. Hopefully this hill should be relatively secure. But those tank destroyers still do quite a bit of damage. And there you go. 50 units have just got across, 54 actually, with a lot more in the convoy. 5 minutes to go, so fairly comfortable. Victory for NATO. So there you go, that's how you do that level. Concentrate on what it tells you to concentrate on. Unfortunately, I don't get any of the secondary objectives. Preserve all allied units. Can keep control of all the conquest points. Hold Gulf, Echo and Delta zones simultaneously. Capture all the initial conquest points in 5 minutes. That's just impossible, really, okay? Don't ignore the secondary objectives, because concentrate on winning that level. It's hard enough as it is.